record this. Okay, now we're recording and just checking in with you again. This is Kat Wilson. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and we're going into the introduction of the Growing Coach training. As you start out this evening, and you might be listening to this at another time in the future because I know that there are a few other people, I am going to introduce my my colleague in all kinds of wonderful experiences, and her name is Becca Hufford. Hey, Becca, you want to say hi?
Hi there.
And you can talk and introduce yourself too as you'd like.
Oh, okay. So I'm Rebecca Hufford. I am an high school teacher and a transitional coach and hypnotherapist. I've been doing it since about 2010 or 11. Let's see here. What else can I say about me? I am one of Kat's partners in crime, so to speak. And I know this weekend I'm going to be talking about people mapping to everybody, and so I'm brushing up on that so that I can be all ready for it.
It's good to have people mapping skills, and one of the things that it really makes a big difference is when you understand what way you can work with another person. And I know that you're really going to deeply appreciate, because this weekend is going to introduce you to a number of aspects. And as we begin with our module number 1, it's really about you. Right, Becca?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And you are a people or a person. So it comes all together with what you are, who you are. And for tonight, what we really want to do is we want to just give you an opportunity to see a little bit about what's happening as we start out, and we also want you to have a chance to introduce yourself. As you know, I am Kat Wilson. I'm the owner of A Positiva Institute. I have to say that the success of this particular coaching program is based on our co-instructors as well as all the people who are involved. And so I want to thank Becca for coming in, because she's an expert in this one particular program. I do have a couple of co-trainers. Another person is Rich. He's not here this evening because he's kind of off taking care of himself. I think he ate something that didn't agree with him.
What?
Hey, I see another face coming on. And for those people who are, what is that word, Rex? I think I'm going to make sure that he is, he's very quiet this evening. There's no audio. Okay, starts with a P. It's in a movie. It's a song.
Second syllable.
2 syllables? No sound. Gotcha. Okay, that works out. So you can hear me, and that's perfectly fine. So currently what I can see is the people who are currently present here are, if you're watching this from a computer, you may see a very handsome man. His name is Rex, and he's also known as a man who does a lot of thought experiments. And he's in your coaching class. He's one of the students. I think you're really going to enjoy Rex. We also have a couple other people over here. I'm going to unmute Rachel. And Rachel, if you'd like to say a couple of words, you can certainly do that.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yay. Yeah, my name is Rachel, and I am an HR professional, and I've been interested in coaching, and been looking at a lot of different courses and came upon yours, and I'm just excited to get started.
Wonderful. Welcome. I'm so glad to meet you online, and it's nice to hear you as well. Another person we have online is David. And David, I actually think about him in terms of being awesome, David. David, would you like to say hello?
Yeah. Can you guys see me?
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay. How about now?
Now we can hear you.
My name is David. I I create and design toys for kids, and I met Kat in the beginning of this year, and I think my path now is towards this coaching and helping people.
Welcome, David. It's really a pleasure. So as you can imagine, I mean, can you imagine being in a class with somebody who creates toys? It's going to be playful.
Yes.
I wore this thinking to myself, you'd associate with this toy-like necklace. So I hope it makes you feel like you've got something playful in front of you.
Yes, I do.
Great. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. And we have somebody over here. And because there's a phone number I don't recognize, I'm thinking that it's probably Brian. And Brian, would you like to say hello?
Sure. Like you said, my name is Brian. I've been in the golf industry the last 20 years of my life. This will be my second course with Kat. I recently spent about 1.5 years in an ashram, and I'm looking to make a transition in my life. And I hope this is the beginning of a new direction.
Welcome, Brian. Welcome. So as you can imagine, we have a wonderful combination. And let's see. It looks like Rex is coming in twice, and that's perfectly all right. We'll let you come in as many times as you'd like to, Rex. I want you to know that you don't necessarily have to see everything here. Just for kicks and giggles, I thought to myself, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of...
There we go.
There you go. We can hear you, Rex. Hey, Rex, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Rex. Which video are you getting me on, my phone or my computer?
Well, we can see you. I don't know if we're on your computer or if we're on something else, but we can see 2 of your boxes, and that's perfectly fine.
Okay. Sorry, this is frustrating. I've never had my computer fail on me like this. I might have actually hit the wrong thing on...
Well, that's okay. We can hear you perfectly fine. All you have to do is just kind of smile and say, hey, and tell us who you are.
Well, let me work this out a little bit more. I'll be right with you.
Okay, he'll be right with us. So there's probably going to be about 2 other people that may pop in. I'm not sure if they will tonight because they said that they had some other plans. So it's possible that they might pop in. And we'll probably have a little conversation with Rex in a little while too. So first of all, I want to very warmly welcome you. If you were over in a Positiva, I would be giving you all a hug and saying welcome. It's so nice to have you here.
That's it.
It sounds like Rex has got something going here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured this out. Except now I'm carrying my own toys.
Well, that's okay. I'll tell you what, Rex, we'll come back to you, okay?
Okay. Let me work this out a little bit more.
Okay. Rex is actually he's really into all kinds of thought experiments, and I think you're really going to appreciate learning more about him. So for right now, I'm going to mute everyone, and I'm going to invite you, if you are watching, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of slides up, basically in a way to kind of help me because it just helps me stay focused here. But all you have to do is listen. So as you enter the world of growing coach training, I want you to realize that everything that we're doing here, we did for a particular purpose. See, our mission is to provide a safe space for our clients and students' growth for positive change. And if you think about positive change, it may actually take you in a location where you start thinking about, well, what is coaching really going to be about? And actually, positive change is exactly what it's about. It helps a person move into a place that they want to do something that maybe is taking a different route from something that they weren't doing as well in. So the focus of this coaching program is really to present the core competencies of coaching along with a line of creative endeavor. Anyone who has done any kind of work with me or attended a course knows that I'm all about creativity. Your contributions are welcomed in class. We do fun activities. I don't think that learning should be boring. And there's some fun things that you'll walk away with. Students get activated through real experience in this particular experience. So that means that you, who are there are all going to be coaching each other. So you'll get real experience. Plus, I invite you to start coaching your colleagues, people who you feel like will be good with you coaching, starting from the very first day. Start using these materials. I'm giving you all my secrets, absolutely all of them. So if you have any questions, please ask me because I'm completely and totally open. I've been doing this since 2012. I found out what doesn't work. I found out what does work, and you'll be experiencing all of that with me. Plus, after the course, one of the things that you can really depend on is I'll be there for you. And my colleagues like Becca have been in the industry for a long time. And even she is there for you when you need her. So we're very open with as much as you would like to come in and ask us. So let's see. This course is also about empowered coaches. I keep on hearing this word, empowering, empowered. And sometimes it just drives me nuts because I think to myself, do they really understand what that means? Empowered means that you come out of your hiding as a person who's been growing and learning skills, and you're going to come into a shining experience of being a higher being when you do this. When you're empowered, that means that you're giving yourself permission to step forward into your higher being. So in all essence of who you are, this course moves from your perspective to make you feel good. When you come into the course, I'm going to be interested in what you want to use it for. I'm going to treat you like a person. And in the same way, we're going to learn about how you can be with different people, and yet they might have a different way of being. So you might want to treat them in different ways. And when I say that, what I really mean is that you might want to be challenging to some people. To some people, you might need to be a little more gentle. Some people might need to just have a more creative approach. And everyone is different. Everyone is different. So empowered coaches recognize this right away. There's no one formula. So that's why we give you all kinds of different patterns to understand this. So in creating this training, we asked ourselves, what will have empowered you as a person, and what will make you a success coach on the outside? So one of the pieces that I know that you're going to also learn, and this I'm going to invite actually Becca to say a couple of things about. Becca, when you started as a coach, what were some things that you immediately realized about coaching? Oh, you know what, Becca? The first thing we have to do is we have to give you a voice.
That's right. Hello. I'm going to say the first thing I realized about coaching, that it's very important to be curious as a coach. And that by asking questions, you empower your client to find the resources from within.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you brought that in, because coaching is not about telling people how they're going to do something. It's about asking them questions, right?
Yeah, right.
So you can expect that you're going to learn a lot about questions. One of the really fun things is that we have question posters, and these will give you very easy access. In the past, Becca, you might remember this. In the past, I brought out the posters very late. I would bring it out in like about the second or the third module and start working with them then. But we're going to go ahead and bring that out when people come on Saturday. You think that's a good idea?
I think that's a great idea.
People are going to get curious right away. They're going to be saying, ooh, coaching posters? What is this? What is this? So I want you to have a lot of anticipation. They're beautiful. We've got everything all printed. I'm so excited. I've actually got the training room is all set up for everybody right now. So every morning when I walk in now, I'm walking in and it's all set to go. And I'm so very excited. I can't wait until you come in and you receive everything. So you are going to be empowered with everything I can possibly give you. So let's keep on going. So each one of the modules will bring you something different. We'll bring you different aspects in coaching, It'll build skills and bring you more of what you need to succeed in coaching. I've attended 2 major coaching courses, and I have learned a lot about what works and what doesn't work. I've also noticed that there are some ways that people, they promote the process of coaching, but they don't really give you the essence of what makes things happen. This is a course that's going to give you a lot of essence. I've worked with TriMet, I've worked with Intel, I've worked with law firms, I've worked with hospitals, I've worked with everyday people. And I can tell you that going with the flow is a powerful thing. But you need to know a little bit about what motivates each one. So each module advances, and it's going to give you a little bit more about how to work with this group or that group. Each module will advance with more higher level tools and exercises, and it'll include the following: things like intentions, coaching exercises, coaching in person, forms and working tools, and peer coaching. Now, I know that David is on here, and as David can probably tell you, he's actually been a coaching client, so he might be really curious about, as we're teaching each one of these, how I came about. I'm giving you all my tools. So that means that you'll be receiving the forms, you'll be receiving the book. I've got my manuals. I'm so excited. They're so pretty. They're all printed and beautiful. And then you'll also receive a manual online. So that means that you'll have something to use on your tablet or iPad or whatever you use. And it makes it so easy these days. Everything's computerized. So I literally walk around with my iPad. And I used to walk around with these shoulder bags full of stuff, but now I've got everything really handy, and I want to make it as simple as I possibly can for you, because I think that's really going into the future. Let's see, let's keep on going. So this weekend, we're going to begin It's About You. And this is all about you and architecture. And there have been some people who came into this particular program because they needed the architecture of how to do a coaching session. This is also going to be introducing about what coaching is and what it's not. And this is pretty important. And Becca can probably tell you that she does therapy, and she does mentoring, and she does consulting, and she does coaching. And Becca, are they all the same?
No. In fact, when I'm doing coaching and I step into another process, I say, okay, I'm putting on a different hat now. I let my clients know when I'm transitioning into maybe more mentoring or more therapeutic type activities.
I'm so glad you mentioned the thing about the hats. I have a special surprise. It's going to be a fun exercise, but I'll let you wonder all about that. Another aspect of this weekend is how to guide a client to meaningful frames of mind. And you can imagine maybe if you ask a question, that a person can actually go from one place to another. And when you are saying to a client, well, what is it that you want today? And what can we accomplish within the next hour? That's one aspect. When you also begin, you want to be able to ask a person, well, where are you at right now in this moment? And I've had clients who are, for instance, I've had a client who recently came in, and they were tired. They were, things had not gone well. They had some pretty major things happen that didn't go very well. And so I said, okay, so this is where you're at. Where would you like to be when you step out of the coaching today? And they said, well, I really need to feel like I can get something done. And this is where I'd start with, well, if you were to get something done today, within the next hour, what would give you the most results? What would give you the most push to get you into another place? And immediately you see a shift. Immediately you start to feel a shift. And you feel this energy with people at the same time, that they're there. And I know I bring out fun things, like I might bring out a koosh ball and start tossing it to my client. I might have cards that are from anywhere from Louise Hay to angel cards to anything. I mean, whatever you can to shift a person. But we have other exercises that can help a person. One in particular is getting them to stand up and move around. You'll have fun with that one. We'll show you more about that this weekend. We will be using coaching architecture to contract agreements. I will give you the actual type of contracts I work with. The clients that I work with vary from place to place, but contracts are contracts. In the past, I know that I've had people who gave me contracts and said, here, just sign on the dotted line. And one of the things that I really, truly believe is you've got to have this meeting of the minds. It's so important to be honest and to be clear. So when we practice with each other doing contracts, you will probably notice how it feels when you hand over a $100 bill, when you think about, I'm going to be signing my name to this agreement with this person, and you'll get a sense of how it feels yourself so that you can then do it with others. People mapping. You want to give us a little description of what we'll be doing with that, Becca?
There we go. Well, people mapping, we're going to be doing a assessment, which you're all going to be given, and you all do your own. And then we'll do some explaining of what people mapping is and how it can be used. It's similar to, but different than, don't you like that? Similar but different than Myers-Briggs. And if you know anything about the Enneagram and other things that kind of help you figure out how to communicate with other people. And to learn more about yourself too, actually.
I learned a lot. And you know, Becca, every time that you've presented this program, I think I got it and I think I understand it. But you know, I think you change a little bit every time you learn something. So then every time you present it, I learn something new.
Great.
So let's keep on going. So that's what Module 1 is, and that's this weekend. All right, every now and then you have to throw some fun stuff in there. So I don't know if any of you ever think about this, but have you got a muse? Does anybody have a muse? I mean, do you even know what a muse is? I mean, when you think of a muse, Becca, what do you think of?
I think of something, somebody, some entity that will make me wonder, make me think, and maybe even make me create.
Make you wonder, make you think, and make you create. Okay. Well, Rachel, what do you think of when you think about a muse?
I don't really know. I think of it a lot for people who are very creative, and a muse is sort of something or someone who inspires them.
Somebody who inspires them. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hey, Brian, what do you think of when you think about a muse?
Inspiration, something that lights a fire.
Something that lights a fire. That's interesting. Hey, Rex, how about you?
Just something whimsical, just sort of like a little subconscious whimsy.
Can you say that say that again?
Sort of a subconscious whimsy, just sort of staying open and idealistic. See what happens. Play with what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like, you know, like street clown. They just play with whatever comes across.
Very interesting. Whimsy is a big part of it too. That's true. I'm thinking that, let's see, David must be there. There he is. Hey, David, what do you think about when you think about a muse?
I think of creativity, imagination.
Mm-hmm.
That's what comes to mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you know what? If you put some glasses on, I think that this little character on the screen actually looks like you.
Let me get my glasses.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go. So I invite everyone to go ahead and bring their muse with them. so that we can have this exciting, fun stuff that also shows on. I like to think to myself that when we show up at these classes, it's not just us, but there's also like another experience coming on. Many of you will probably hear me say, I believe that there's higher beings that are available for us. I'm not churchy. I don't attend a church. Whoops, excuse me very much. That would be the other person who was supposed to be there, but that's okay. I will contact them a little bit later. So I invite you that if you have any kind of spiritual belief or any fun stuff, to go ahead and bring whatever your beliefs are and share them openly, because everybody is welcome. Everybody is welcome. Even the whimsical, exciting, curious type of experiences. Anyway, I thought I'd throw some fun stuff in there. So after this weekend, you'll have the second weekend, but in between, we'll be having some coaching check-ins and little pieces of learning. On module number 2, this is the coaching where we're using NLP. Neuro-linguistic programming is the art and science of human excellence. And this is really great because when you're working with human beings, it brings in a lot of good tools. And you won't walk out as an NLP practitioner, but you're going to be dangerous. You're going to be dangerous because you're going to have good tools. And they're fantastic for things like building rapport. So you'll be learning the basics and how to use NLP in coaching. We'll be doing value elicitations, which are amazing. My clients have many times, they say, I'm really surprised. And I'm going to actually pull David in here because, David, I've actually done a value elicitation with you. How was that?
It was really interesting. I was, like you said, I was surprised by what I found, like what my values were. Yeah, it was just very interesting.
I'm glad that you said that. Well, now you're going to learn about exactly how we go about doing that. Thank you very much for sharing. The other thing is I can't tell you too much right now because it's a mystery. But we'll be teaching you about the power of mystery contracts and what that can do. Becca, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and of course, add your input because, let me see, and it's unmute. Tell me, you are a master in neurolinguistic programming, and you've learned all about using coaching along with some of these exercises. What would you like to add?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I think that actually the use of NLP in coaching, I think it's really important to be able to know how to do it, especially the building of rapport and being able to kind of, I want to say, assist your clients in possibly changing states that they're in, which we'll talk about next week. Those two things I think are really important.
Thank you. Yes, changing states. I've got a big poster on my wall right now. I'm just very excited about you coming in. That's already got things about states on it. You remember, Becca? Because you just came in a couple days ago.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fun. Just leading up to all kinds of curiosity. I bet you can't wait to come in. In the third week of module number 3, we will be doing the nuts and bolts of coaching. And this really gets into some of the pieces that hold it all together. So how does a coach really do it? You're already learning some pieces about how it happens, but there are also some pieces that get intuitively and humorously and deeply into the process. And you'll be actually evaluating yourself as you go along with each module. And each module is going to really build on the one before it. So you'll be learning step-by-step processes to really provoke and draw out the clients. So I was a co-instructor in Colorado for one of the other coaching instructors. His name is Michael Hall, and he asked me to help teach. So I went down to Colorado a few years ago, and he says, I'm a provoker. I really get into them. I push them to make a decision. And there's different stages of provoking. You don't want to do it first thing. You might want to do a couple of things first. And maybe that's another level. Is learning, all right, so if I'm going to provoke them, should I push them first or should I pull them? Is it a push me, pull you type of thing? So Becca, would you like to add a couple things? I know I see you nodding there.
Yeah, because not only are you dealing with your client's states, but you're dealing with your states. And what state do you want to be in, or what role do you want to take as you're working with clients, either drawing them out or making them go inside and do some questioning and wondering and musing for themselves.
I like how you added the muse in there as well. Mm-hmm. Sure. I think to myself, what happens when you step into your kitchen? Do you want to be in the role of what you would be if you were standing in a line waiting to get your DEQ and emissions test done? Is that the state you want to be when you step into your kitchen? Probably not. And in the same way, I think about when I'm with children, do I want to be in the same state as when I'm sitting in a room with my CPA? When I'm in a room helping 5-year-olds learn how to draw a picture of a lion? Probably not. So there's different states. And by getting into a sense of understanding that, you'll shift and we'll teach you the process of going around from stage to stage. And then how do you draw them out? When are they ready? We have some deep listening exercises. I have to tell you, I really greatly, deeply appreciate my clients. I deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate them. And in my mind and in my imagination and in my prayers, I always invite the most interesting and fascinating people. So whoever shows up, I know came by my invitation. I can't wait to listen to them. So I take everything else out of my mind, set it off to the side for a while. There's a big stack of stuff over in the corner that's in my mind, and I'm completely and totally available so that when they're talking, I hear them deeply. And you'll get into a sense of practicing that with each other and learning exactly how that feels. Listening. Sometimes I think that's a big part of what I'm paid for, is to be there to hear, because so many people feel like they're not heard. Would you like to add anything to that, Becca?
I want to add that once you learn this process of that deep listening, you'll find that you do it not even when you're not coaching, and people around you really appreciate that.
Yeah. It's a magical thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It really is.
People will be drawn to you. People will be drawn to you. The next step is coaching ethically. Now, I was watching a program, and Rich and I don't watch TV, but we do have Amazon Prime. So we watch these really old programs. It's embarrassing because I can get excited about something and mention it to somebody and they say, oh, that program was on in 2015. But that's okay. I mean, it's still working for me. And the show that I was watching was something called Suits. Has anybody seen this program? It's about lawyers who, no, it's an old thing. It's on Amazon Prime. Anyway, I'm still watching things from the 1970s too, so I don't know. Anyway, there's this one program, the one that we were watching recently, where one of the lawyers realizes that he's going to be signing a document, and he's breaking the law when he does it. But he wants to be there for his law firm, and he wants to bring in millions of dollars. So he signs the document, he gets the document, he brings it back, and he tries to bury it underneath boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff. And then he feels good because he thinks it's buried. But you know it's not really buried because it's still there, because he did it. Coaching ethically means that you are walking with ethics. You are being honest. You're not telling people about what you heard in one of your sessions unless you have permission to share it. Coaching ethically means that you also tell your clients the truth, and you're present with them 100%, but you're not giving them something that's not real. So you'll learn more about how we do that. And we'll be presenting some aspects of ethics as far as the ICF. We'll present their ethics, but we'll also present the ethics of the Center for Credentialing and Education, the BCC, which is the Board Certified Coaching, which is actually an educationally recognized area. And I believe very strongly in those ethics. I think we need to walk our talk. I'll share more with you later about that. And then we're going to uncover the belief systems, which I think most people are walking around with some system or another. And look at that, I forgot the period. But you see, it keeps on going on and on and on and on. So I'm not sure if you can end it at that. That's module 3, the nuts and bolts, especially for people who are carpenters, right, Rex? I don't want you to get bored, but we want to nail it down. Okay, Becca, here's where I really come alive. So module 4 is about the artistry. This is about activating flow. If any of you have ever heard of Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, he wrote a great book about flow. And flow is when you get into this place where everything feels like you're right in, you're moving along, you feel challenged, and you have the energy to keep on going. And it's almost like you can't feel it if it's raining on top of you. You could be standing outside in the rain and you don't even feel the rain because you're in such ecstasy of being a part of something, and that's flow. So we're going to talk about activating that flow. I don't know how many of you have ever been in a situation where you were a model. Actually, when I was a teenager, my mother was in a sorority. And so I've got the great big badge of being 16 years old and being in 2 fashion shows as a model. It was back in the time of mini skirts and suede and leather. So we won't be actually teaching you how to model suede and mini skirts, but we will be modeling success. We'll be getting into some creative communication. Communication doesn't just happen by listening or watching. It happens through many other means. And this is part of the artistry of coaching, is to communicate in ways that people are surprised and entertained by. Hey, metaphors to inspire. I'm going to pull Becca up on this one. Becca loves to talk about metaphors.
I do. Metaphors are great things, and we use them all the time without even thinking about it. And it's, I just think they're great.
I do too. I do too. I know that I've had people who came to me, and I do have permission to share this one story. One of my clients came in and she said she needed to make some changes or she was going to lose her job. She didn't want to lose her job because she had a government position. And when she retired, she got PERS. And she was only a couple of years away. But her supervisors, her managers had changed. And all of a sudden, she was faced with working with people that she did not feel comfortable working with. And when she came in, she was told either change or you're out of here. So she came in for coaching. And I love this lady. She even gave me a referral on my website, I believe. She was frustrated. And she was really frustrated. So I said, well, what is it that you do like to do? You know, when somebody's frustrated, you can't really get them into a creative place. But when you say, well, what do you really like to do? She says, I love bike riding. I said, you do? Tell me about a great bike ride. She started telling me all about this ride that she was taking, how it was curving and how she was seeing trees and it had the right amount of hills and everything. And I said, wow, that sounds like fun. And she says, it is. I mean, it's freedom. I said, wow. Well, I said, what if you looked at every person you were working with as a bike ride? And she said, oh boy. I said, well, tell me about this person who's in a cubicle next to you. And she described about being on a bumpy ride, and there's potholes and your wheels kind of loose and you're not sure if your brakes work. And then I said, well, now tell me, what is it like working with your manager? And she says, oh, branches are slapping me in the face and I'm going uphill and I'm pushing as hard as I can with my legs and my legs are getting tired. And I said, well, how is it with this other person that you said that you like working with them? And she said, well, wow, it's like the sun shining on my face. It's a summer breeze. So I said, okay, well, would you be willing to, every time that you are experiencing an interaction with the people in your department over the next week, and this is a homework assignment, I'd like to invite you, and it's an invitation, of course. It's always an invitation because I don't tell them what to do, to see everyone as a bike ride, to make some notes, and then I'll see you in a week. When she came back, I will tell you, she had some real stories. And she laughed and she said, as a matter of fact, she said, I couldn't help but smile when I was talking to them, because it wasn't like seeing them naked with their belly button, but to see them on a bike ride, it was amazing. It was so much fun to be at work. Well, she started smiling and laughing. And I can tell you that the people who were with her, they were wondering, well, this person who had a grumpy face when they looked at me, why were they smiling and laughing? Well, it was because she had this wonderful metaphor to inspire her. So this is just one of many examples. Charismatic coaching. What makes you irresistible? What gives you that level of charisma? Well, you're all coming in with some charisma, but we're going to give you a few other ways of doing it. Along with that, we'll be doing something called benchmarks. Now, benchmarks are one of the ways that you can achieve your goal on maybe 4 different levels. And you'll learn more about that when you get to that module number 4. So let's keep on going to the last module. Module number 5 is, for some of you, you're coming in and you're using coaching in your business. You're hired to do something. But for other people, maybe you want to go ahead and do coaching on the side. Maybe you'd like to have your own practice. And as you think about your own practice, this is going to be about building and growing a practice. So it'll be about identifying what kind of a coach are you. It'll be about creating a coaching ID and really connecting with those people who you want to be coaching. It also goes into some life coaching parameters. Now, this coaching program will allow you to become a health coach. You can go on to being a self-actualization coach, a transformation coach. It's going to depend on what works for you, who you want to work with. We're also going to be doing telecoaching. Right now we're online. So it's a kind of like telecoaching, except we see each other. And I can tell you that there's a number of people who they contact me and I never see their face. We make arrangements for the coaching. We make arrangements for payment. And I may never have seen their face until maybe somewhere down the line they send me a picture. And I'm always delighted at how far you can go. I've been coaching one person now for about 2 months, and my imagination just wonders what they look like. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating thought. You'll also be doing some presentations to the group. At this point, you'll have something that you'll present, and we'll be going into building a practice. Now, Becca, you were a teacher for marketing classes, right?
Right.
And you're going to be working with us to help these people in their practice building?
Of course, yes.
Do you want to share anything?
Wow. So these days, a lot of marketing and a lot of this happens through social media, and you have to decide which ones you want to do and which ones you don't want to do. And they all have their advantages, but they also all have their caveats. and their disadvantages. So it's learning to do those, and also to get your brand out there.
Branding is powerful stuff.
Mm-hmm. It kind of goes into creating your coaching ID.
Mm-hmm. And so with the marketing background that Becca brings as a teacher in marketing, and currently she says that she's a retired teacher for high school, which she was doing, and she also worked with, what were those groups of high school kids who built businesses? What was that called?
Oh, I was a DECA advisor.
Mm-hmm.
And if any of you were ever in high school, FBLA, DECA, they were leadership programs for high school students.
So that's kind of like starting at the very basis. And I know right now you're working over at Portland Community College, even though you say you retired from teaching.
Right. I actually help teachers get their career technical programs up and running.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Up and running. That's what I'm hoping everyone will feel comfortable in doing. When it comes to branding and some artistic things, I do have a background in design. And I'll tell you more about that when you come in and we're in that one particular module. Now, let me see, what else do I have here? What makes a difference? When you come into this class, you are the difference. Everybody brings their own specialness with them. But also realize that whatever traditions that you'll need to carry forward, but also question what is also out there that will help make a difference and achieve new things. This is a quote by Ada Battle. You, more than anyone else, knows who you are and what traditions that you enjoy and have kept you where you are. I believe that when you get into a coaching experience, you might realize that you've been hiding behind traditions, or you've been hiding behind other habits or things. You are going to be making a difference in people's lives, even with one person. And I can't even begin to say, in my mind, I wonder what difference it makes when this person who has gone through all these changes now interacts with other people, and then they experience it and they make changes. You are going to make a difference. If you're not doing that already, coaching is definitely going to get you going there even further. So there are some hot trends in coaching. You probably will learn about a few of those. There are people who are doing wellness coaching. And actually, I think that one of our people over here, David, I think actually your wife is also doing coaching right now. Is she doing some form of wellness coaching?
Yeah, she does like the yoga wellness coaching.
Mm-hmm. So you know that wellness coaching is a hot thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, there's also exercise and weight loss programs, and sometimes people like to get into doing all kinds of coaching things. This involves a little bit of consulting along with coaching. We'll talk about these kind of things, but I'm not going to make anybody do push-ups or pull-ups, no jumping jacks, although I don't know, jumping jacks are kind of fun. We might have to do those anyway. There's also business coaching. I've done a lot of business coaching. I've done it with some organizations. Right now I have a law firm who's asked me to come in and do a lot of business coaching with them. I've had individuals starting their businesses, but these are hot trends and they're needed. And people who work with a coach are successful. I've had a coach now for, I think it's going on 7 years. And we've had a couple times when I took a break for a little while. But the reason why I feel like I succeed is because I've got somebody there who I can bounce ideas off of. And I walk my talk. I'm actually in a coaching session with her at least once a week. It's powerful for me because I've got somebody else that I can do things with. Global successful practices. I can tell you that when it comes into doing coaching, you can meet with people all around the world. It's kind of funny because I think about it. It can be 7 o'clock at night and I'm starting to talk to people who are in Germany. I'm on the phone with people now. Usually, I was trying to think, I think it was like at about 9 o'clock in the morning, somebody from France. I have people who have come in from India at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I think that they're staying up really late or something. but it's become a global thing. And you're going to find that people will, and sometimes I wonder, how on all earth do they find me? Is it just the website? They find me through LinkedIn. They find me through Facebook. They find me through the blogs that I've written. It's always shocks and surprises me. But I've had a lot of different international people that I'm talking to on a regular basis now. So it's very global, and just, you can't even imagine, but you will. So start using your imagination. Coaching is going to be a process where you're not telling people what to do. I know with wellness that there's a couple other pieces. When it comes to coaching, you're going to be learning what hurts, advising how to do what hurts, getting in the wrong state, thinking that you know everything. I've had people who said, wow, I was coaching this one person and they just didn't reach their goal. Well, maybe they weren't ready. Maybe they needed to have a little therapy in between for something else. Remember, when you are coaching somebody, you're allowing them to make the changes themselves. And as a coach, you could do as much as you can as a coach, but you're there for them and helping them reach it. But they might actually need to do a little bit of something in between. It takes time. What really helps in coaching, and you'll be learning this, is exploring ideas, learning about using questions to provoke and to help them get into a creative place, and really being in the right state. I don't know if this has occurred to you, but I noticed recently my youngest child just got married. He's not even a child. He couldn't have gotten married as a child. I don't know why I call him a child anymore. He's not a child. My youngest adult child got married. And here we are, we're at his wedding, and I'm watching their faces, and they are so in love. And he had myself and my ex-husband and her mother and father stand up at the wedding instead of using bridesmaids and groomsmen. And I looked at everybody's face as I looked at this beautiful woman that my son was marrying, and my son, who was just so filled with love, and everyone is mesmerized. They're all in the state of love. I think this is why people fall in love at weddings. When you're coaching, you're in the right state, and you create that, I have to tell you, it really helps the person, because they might be around grumpy people all day. You never know. I can imagine being around David. I mean, he's designing toys. And I can imagine also being around Brian, because he's so very spiritual. I love the very essence. So much to get into here. So you'll be coaching people. You'll be coaching people who don't seem like they're very present. Sometimes they're going to need a little bit of your fire. So I'm going to invite you to bring your fire with you. As I've watched people like really pick up on so much about them, sometimes a person really seems as though they're invisible. And I try to make them feel as visible as possible. And in coaching, you're going to have a lot of visibility here with each other. You'll find out about whether a person is coachable. And believe me, there are some people who are not quite ready, but there's a little test that you can begin with. And you want to have people who are coachable, because if they're not, you're going to be going down a different path with them. Sometimes people need to be in with a psychotherapist, or sometimes they're still working on other issues. You also want to have a sense of awareness with people. And so as you are in this coaching course, you are going to get into a state of higher and higher awareness. It surprised me how much I started really seeing something more than what the person was. I would only have to say it's like energy. I totally feel that and sense it. It's a completely and totally heightened experience. You'll also notice that as you are getting into the coaching experience, you'll be working with entrepreneurs who are highly creative. You know, we have thought experimenters here, and you might be doing a little bit of planning with them. So I'll be showing you some things that I do. I love to work with paper. One of the things I love to be able to do is I love to be able to stick a piece of paper up behind me, especially when I'm on the computer, and draw on the wall behind me. Or if I'm present with a person, I'll have a pad of paper And my pads of paper are always prepared with lots of pens so that we could draw pictures as the client is talking, because there is nothing like being with a coach who takes down your ideas as you're talking. And then before they leave, I hand it to them. They walk out the door, and not only did they have inspiration, but they actually have something in their hand, which they always feel really good about. And so I'll encourage you to do that as well. When you get into coaching, it's very value driven. So as you are there compiling all your different, aspects of what's going on in the coaching, you'll be doing it based on the person's values, not yours. You won't decide for them that something is better than another thing, but it'll be their values. And sometimes when you get together with a team, you have to make sure that everybody's got the same value experience. I mean, I'm sure if you go into a football group, you've got to have, everybody's got basically the same kind of values. Musicians have to have some similar values. You'll notice that as you work with people and you coach to being value driven, that they'll find more satisfaction with what they're doing, because it's really about what's important in their life. And it's going to involve planning. Planning can be done in a lot of different ways, and you're going to be learning many different ways to do a plan, including doing clustering, doing mind mapping, a lot of crazy kind of things, because that's what we like to do, even vision boards. I don't want to get too personal, but you're going to be getting into the anatomy of a hot coach. So just know that when you get into that sense of successful coaching, the anatomy of a hot coach has aspects of values that you'll learn. You'll be learning about the states. You'll be getting into belief systems. And you'll really be learning what a coach needs. I call you a person who's coaching an explorer. And if you can imagine a person going through life as an explorer, so much more, interest comes up to mind. As the person who is the explorer in the room with you is waiting for you, you'll be prepared because you'll have developed rapport. You'll have some questions to help them get to the place that they want to be. You'll have some good listening, skills. And you may be a wonderful listener right now, but your listening will be heightened. You're going to bring that one book with you this time to the listening, aren't you, Becca? Don't tell them the title of the book, but you can just imagine. Yeah. She's got some great books on this, and we'll be doing some fun exercises with this. And we'll also teach you about tracking your client. And these are all about the anatomy of a hot coach. Being able to have rapport, have the right questions, be listening, tracking your explorer, and just having a real sense of who they are, but letting them make the choices and the actions. So, Growing Coach Training is actually going to be beginning here real soon. You'll be getting your coaching. You'll be very artful because coaching is art. You'll be activating flow. You'll be knowing how to model success. And within whatever you're learning, don't expect and worry about having to be Leonardo da Vinci, because artistry comes in a lot of different forms. Recently, I met a man, and I was noticing his shirt. And I think I was just standing in a coffee shop, and I said, "That's a great shirt." I said, "You must be an artist." And he said, "Well, I can't draw, but I play music." Well, isn't that an art? Sure. So artistry comes in a lot of different forms, And you'll be working with that on whatever forms work right for you. Each and every single one brings something powerful. So you'll be stepping into a beautiful place. It's not Christmas, but this is the picture that I have. There's a waterfall right out in front, as some of you have already seen, and it's very relaxing. Right now we have a lot of flowers that are in bloom. It looks so very pretty. And I'm so very excited about having you come in, because everything is just all ready for you. At this point, let me see. I'm just going to unmute Rachel, and I'm going to unmute Brian, and I'm going to unmute David and unmute Rex. And unmute Becca, and I'm just going to ask you to just tell me, do you have any questions at this point at all? I see Brian's all lit up. Do you have a question, Brian?
No, I don't. What time does it start on Saturday comes to my head, but that doesn't, it seems like a question that could be asked later.
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. Class will start at 9 o'clock. Coffee is on at 8:30. I've already got all kinds of wonderful, little snacks set up for you. Do bring your lunch. We have some kind of like health bars. We have fruits. We have coffee and tea.
Do you have a fridge to store things in?
We do. We do. We have a mini fridge in the back, and what we'll be doing is, like, whenever you bring your things, you can just hand them to me and I'll put them in the fridge in the back. And when lunch comes, if you're really good and I feel like letting you have lunch, I'll give you your lunch. How's that sound?
Fair.
Okay. All right. Rachel, how about you? Any questions?
I was just trying to think if I had any questions, but I feel like you've explained everything well. I'm sure I'll have questions as we get started.
Okay. Well, know that I'm always very open and welcome to receive those questions. Hey, David, got any questions?
What is the dress code?
Excellent. Excellent. Well, gosh.
Be dressed.
Get dressed. Dress for comfort. Absolutely dress for comfort. There might be some days when I dress up. Everybody knows I like to walk around in yoga pants. So it's very typical for me to just be as comfortable wearing sandals or yoga pants. You can come in and wear sandals and take your sandals off when you arrive. Just come, plan to be comfortable. When you say how to dress, it reminds me, years ago when I lived in California, it was like in the 1980s and 90s, I owned a design firm called Transparent Design in Santa Cruz. And I was so excited after my second year that I invited everybody to a cocktail party because I'd never had a cocktail party. And I went out and I bought this beautiful dress, and I had these special invitations made, and I ordered wine that had a special printed label of my business. And I hired a chef to come in, and she prepared fancy cheese sticks and all these other kind of things. And it was just absolutely gorgeous. And one of the people called me and said, "How do I dress?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know, semi-formal." And so I said, "Okay, I know just what to do. Thanks." So the day of the party, I've got some people who are kind of dressed up, but Dave Reynolds shows up with a tuxedo from neck to his waistline and tennis shorts and socks and tennis shoes. But if you want to dress that way, that's okay. So thank you for that question. That's good. Hey, Rex, got any questions?
Not really. Just want to make certain those peanut butter human treats are there.
I will consult the peanut butter energy bar chef.
Yes, those are the way to get me in early.
Okay. Yeah, I will make sure. My partner Rich is the one who makes those. He makes a different recipe every single time. It's a gluten-free thing that's got flaxseed and it's got peanuts in it. Does anybody have a peanut allergy? No? Oh, good.
Good.
That's good. Okay, well, they'll be there. They'll be there.
So you did say that we could probably get started almost right after the first module.
Please start using whatever tools you get right away.
Good.
Okay. If you've got questions in between, I'm very happy to answer them. And I think that's my partner right over there. Hey, Rich?
Yeah.
We have a question from the coaching class, and it directly is something to ask you.
What's that?
The question is, will there be energy bars?
To be determined.
Yeah, they'll be there.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
All right.
Yeah, they'll be there.
No big deal. I was just thinking about them.
Oh, he loves to make those, so they'll be there. Yeah, they're a very popular thing with our classes.
I'll do it if I have enough energy.
He says he'll do it. Do you want to just come stand next to me and just, I know you don't want to be seen right now. You want to just come over and just let them hear your voice to say hi?
Hi.
Okay, they can see you.
Okay, they can see.
They can't
Hello,
see you.
everybody.
Yeah, so I could probably shift you up a little. This is his arm.
This is my arm, and I'll probably get some more of me down here eventually.
Yeah.
I just got back.
So Rich just went out for a walk in the forest or something. Is that what you did?
Well, that, and I also did some errands to get some stuff for class.
Like, did you buy peanut butter for the peanut butter energy bars?
That'll be on the next the next errand run.
Okay.
Now that I know.
Okay. All righty. Okay. So you've seen Rich on the other side.
All right.
Okay. Well, with that, Becca and I will be seeing you on the weekend. She is our people mapping expert. She's also she's been my co-trainer in many, many classes. We do have a fireplace room. It's a little bit hot. I probably will not light the fireplace when you're there. But I can tell you that dress for the weather, and we'll try to make it as comfortable as possible. It's from 9 in the morning. You can come as early as 8:30 and we'll be all set up. Class will finish at 4 o'clock, and usually we do a little cleaning up, and most people like to leave on time. So we'll be making sure that your learning ends at a time when you can actually walk out the door at 4. So if you need to be someplace, you can depend on that. Yeah, Brian.
I have one more question.
Oh, sure. Go right ahead.
Okay. My internet's a little slow, so I hope that you can hear me. I was wondering, so are we supposed to be selecting somebody who we would then be coaching through this training, or are you just saying that we can practice this in our lives with people as we go along?
That's a good question, and I'm glad that you asked that question. So the question is, should you be selecting somebody to do coaching with on the outside, or should you just coach people as you go along? My suggestion would be to go ahead and duplicate the materials I give to you and find people who do want to be coached, and if they want to be coached for a period of a month, then of course that's not a long relationship in coaching. Usually I coach people for a minimum of 4 months, but the coaching course is this whole month, and then you can maintain contact with me throughout the year and ask me questions. I'm not going to be, having you worry about that. I want you to know that you have access to me all throughout the year, even if, we're not in class. Find somebody who would like to be coached, or practice some of these exercises on people who will still be friends with you. I believe that everybody loves these exercises, but of course that's my belief system. So I put it out for your consideration. If you have somebody who would like to have a little coaching during the process, definitely find somebody to do that with. You will be keeping track of your hours in class with each other, because you'll be coaching each other, and and when you coach people outside, you will also track those hours, because all of that counts, and you want to just kind of be on top of how much time you're spending with people. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. More questions, more answers.
Do you have a good tracking system?
Do I have a tracking system? Yes. Yes. You walk through the forest when it's been raining, and your shoes will have mud on them. And when you walk in the house, you will have tracks on your floor.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yes, we have tracking systems. Well, I can tell you, if you have no further questions, you've been an excellent audience for this evening. I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in class. You can anticipate that when we get together on our Wednesdays, it will be about checking in how things go, and that I'll be, giving you a tip on something new. Also, for those people who are interested, I will be sending you some of our other coaching classes if you want to watch videos in between. You might even be able to get it more than once, because some of my coaching classes have been recorded. So I'll share those videos with you, so that if you want to do extra credit work and learn things on the side, you can also learn more. How's that sound?
So we'll get access to some material before we show up?
Yes, I can send you some material. Would you like cotton, linen, silk?
Oh. Here come the muse.
Well, Poplin's kind of nice. Well, for right now, today's Wednesday, and we'll be getting together on Saturday morning. How about if I just let you relax before then? And when you come, I've got a whole book full of things for you. After your first day, I will be sending you the online version, but I'm going to let you have a couple of days. I don't want to give that to you until you come into class. But I do look forward to seeing you all, and I hope that you have a great Wednesday evening, a wonderful Thursday, a fantastic Friday, and Saturday is going to be amazing.
Yes.
So come ready to be amazed.
Thank you, Kat.
You're very welcome.
Thanks.
Arrive safely to your next destination. See you at Growing Coach Training. I love you all. I'm looking forward to giving you all a hug. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.